IELTS is designed to test English at all levels, and results are reported as band scores on a scale from 1 to 9. So there is no such thing as a pass or fail. The level of English needed for a candidate to perform effectively in a study, work, or training varies from one situation to another. That is why each individual organization sets its own minimum IELTS score for applicants, depending on specific requirements. For example, most academic institutions require you to get IELTS overall band scores of at least 6.5 or 7, while for immigration purposes, even lower scores could be acceptable. Now, if you are practicing at home, you are definitely curious to work out your band scores to see if you are completely ready to take the actual test of IELTS. Unfortunately, it is not possible to see how well you perform in the writing and speaking modules all by yourself and without the help of an expert IELTS instructor or an examiner. However, the good news is IELTS has provided conversion tables for listening and reading so that you can estimate the approximate band score in these two areas. Let's take a look at the first table, which is for listening. Let's say you have answered around 23 listening questions correctly. That means, according to the table, your band score will be 6. There are, of course, half band scores too. So you may have to answer 26 or 27 questions correctly for a 6.5. But things are different when calculating your reading band score. Depending on whether you have taken the academic version of IELTS or the general training one, you need to use different conversion tables. If you look closely, the table on the right looks quite scary, as you'll have to answer more questions correctly if it's a general training reading test. Therefore, 30 out of 40 corresponds to 6 out of 9, unlike the academic version in which 30 gives a 7. Although it may seem unfair, this is all because reading passages and questions are easier in the general training version of IELTS. As I already mentioned, it is not as easy to assess your speaking or writing abilities by yourself. Yet, there is a table of criteria for both writing and speaking that examiners use. Here's the table for writing task 1. Apparently, you will be assessed in terms of task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical resource, and finally grammatical range and accuracy. Now, here is the one for writing task 2, with the same categories, of course. And here are the speaking band descriptors. In simpler terms, when writing either task 1 or task 2, be sure to take the following into consideration: good content, good organization, good vocabulary, good grammar, and most importantly, make sure you have written enough words. 150 for task 1 and 250 for task 2. And as for the speaking test, you are expected to speak fluently, accurately, with a good range of vocabulary, and of course, correct pronunciation. That's it for now. But you will be given detailed explanation on all these tables in their own chapters during the program. Please be patient. Your performance in the IELTS test will be reported in 2 ways. There will be a band score for each of the skills and an overall band score from 1 to 9. The overall band score is the average of your scores in the 4 skills. For example, if you score band 6 in listening, band 6 in reading, band 5 in writing, and band 7 for speaking, your overall band score will be 6. You can see from the example that a lower score in one skill can be easily compensated for by higher scores in the others. What if the average across the 4 skills ends in 0.25 or 0.75? If it ends in lower than 0.25, it is rounded down, but if it ends in 0.25 or higher, it is rounded up to the next whole band. And if the figure ends in lower than 0.75, it is rounded down, but if it ends in 0.75 or higher, it is rounded up to the next whole band. Suppose that the band score of one of the modules in the previous example is 4.5, which is half a band lower. Then the sum would be 23.5, and when divided by 4 will give 5.875. This will be rounded up to the next whole band of 6.